Hello, everybody. Yep, we're talking, and we just invited you into our conversation. So, welcome, everyone. So good to see y'all.
Mhm.
And what a beautiful group, Miss Trina, we have here. They all come in to join us on a second look. So, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
So,
So
what's
nice.
happening?
Oh, enjoying a beautiful sunshine-filled day, and you're enjoying a little snow. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
beautiful. I mean, I love the snow,
I
and
know you do.
yeah.
And I love the sun.
Yeah, well, that's not bad. Yesterday was it yesterday or Sunday? It was Sunday. Um, we get that stinging sun. And by the way,
Yes.
it's interesting because as we speak, there is a sunspot that is now coming into what they call Earth view.
Oh,
And it's actually about 3 times the size of Earth. This is a big sucker.
wow.
So, and it's flaring. So who knows? It has if what happens. So hello everybody. Hello all the moderators. We got a full house here. David Barry 75. How you doing,
Hi,
David?
David.
David Castle. Oh, we got a lot of Davids.
I know.
Oh, you
The
just say
enlightened ones.
to all the Davids that are here. Well,
Yes.
and all the moderators and everyone else, Deborah Truax, Martin and Heidi, Bonnie, Deborah Sloan, so many of them.
Such a wonderful tribe.
It is, I tell you, we had two trolls in this morning.
I saw that. I was like, right on, Wayne. You handled that. Snap.
Oh, let me tell you what. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so moderators, heads up.
Don't mess with the horns, baby.
No, absolutely. I just giggled. I was like, oh, snap, that's handled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You ain't gonna bring your dirty diapers in here. I don't think
Thank
so.
God. Right? Oh, it's like, oh, I love it. I'm like, round
Oh,
them
that
up and
just
throw them
cracked
out.
me
It's
up.
like, we
Yep.
don't need that.
Nope, nope. Bye. Bye, Felicia. It's
Ah,
like, yeah, I didn't know you, and so I ain't gonna grow you. So there you go.
that's it.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
I want to say I've was meditating, and I just want to give a shout out to Karen, Queen of Courts, wherever you are, Karen. Sending you a warm energy, hon. We appreciate you. There's Big Al in Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, Al.
Love Memphis. Actually, I
Yeah.
don't. It sucks. But if you ever get a chance, stay at the Peabody Hotel. I mean, back in the day when they actually brought the ducks down.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, it's a big thing. At 10 o'clock, they bring the ducks down in the elevator, and the ducks come down from their rooftop penthouse, wherever they go, and they come in, and then exactly at 5 o'clock, I mean, the doo, 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 and it's the whole big deal. Everybody's got a cocktail, and the ducks begin to parade out.
Wow.
So that's at the Peabody Hotel. Yeah.
That's cool.
And if you go right out the door on the side of the Peabody and you go right down that alley, they got one of the best rib places in Memphis, Rendezvous. And so anyway. Hey
Oh,
Trina, I'm digressing. Yes, that's what we
you're
do
bringing me
here.
back to Tennessee, and
Yeah.
Tennessee makes me think of Brian because, yeah, last time I
Uh,
was in Tennessee, we were having lunch.
yeah. You
Yeah.
know, I lived in Knoxville for a number of years, and yeah, I tell Lynn all the time the thing about East Tennessee, that whole region in Appalachia,
Mhm.
is the people are authentic. That's the best
Yeah.
thing I can say. The real back heel people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I had
That's
my sales rat went actually up through West Virginia in true Appalachia.
hmm.
And that's where I went in and visited the snake handling church.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I saw that
So
once. It was my first time and I freaked out. Yeah.
that's a serious head trip.
It was my first time too, because yeah, it's my aunt's
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. Yeah. I was like, wow.
To each their own, right?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's like,
Yeah.
uh-huh. All I said to him, no, thank you.
Right. I ran. I was like, oh, I
Not
don't
my cup of
see that.
tea.
Yeah, not mine
Um,
either. Yeah, I was
well,
so nervous. I was like, I was so scared those people were gonna die. Yeah.
and it's an interesting thing because it's really, it's quite remarkable because these people, at least the one church that I was in,
Mhm.
um, they were in a trance-like
They
state.
were too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I didn't, I'd never seen it. I didn't know,
It's
you know,
like
I was like, I was just freaked out. I
it's
had
like
no preparation. I walked in on crazy snake day. I mean, I have a thing of doing that somehow. I don't know why.
it's interesting. To each their own.
Oh,
And that's where, you can really say, I don't have the faith in that. And,
I, yeah.
yeah, because you get your ass bit.
I was like, you guys are
Like, what
crazy.
are you? Person says,
Yeah.
come on, brother.
And
This
they were,
cowboy.
though, they were in a trance state, and I didn't see anybody get bit, but, oh my, oh my. They said somebody
Yeah.
to get bit in the earlier service. I was like, "Oh, God."
It's like, hello. I see
Oh,
that
yeah,
Julianne is in the house,
I did.
and
Man.
we're gonna have her on. I'm gonna see if we can
Ah,
get her on next week.
she is so wonderful,
Yeah,
my
there's
soul
a
sister.
high holy day that is going to be taking place in December,
Mhm.
and I like her to talk about that. Robert V is in the house.
Hi,
There we
Robert.
go. Hey, Robert. So,
Yeah.
did y'all have some technical difficulties over the weekend?
Oh my gosh, Robert couldn't get on to even, like, he couldn't even get Google to, or Zoom to come up on Google.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, it was strange.
Robert, it sounds like you need to get a private VPN
Oh,
because,
that might be what's, yeah, that might be.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I've had that problem and it sucks, and that comes from the ISP, whatever your ISP carrier is.
It was through everything too, his phones, his laptops. I mean, it was
Wow.
nothing with nothing. He was like, "This is weird." Yeah, it was
Yeah.
seeming to, yeah. The only way he could even get onto the other show was using his work email, which, like I'm saying, it was crazy train.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Whoa.
And did you
Strange
see
stuff.
my screen?
Yeah. What
It
was up?
was, I was seeing psychedelic crazy train, and it was the entire time that, I mean, the whole time wait, I was like, okay, this is
Is that when
crazy.
you were on with Jennifer?
Fine. Jen, yeah,
Yeah.
Jennifer, yeah.
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was like, okay, this is new.
We'll have to, wow, that's
Yeah,
strange stuff. I mean, we live
totally.
in a time now where control is everything.
Yeah, that's why I had to show
Yeah.
my screen. I was like, you guys got to see what I'm seeing here. Are you guys seeing this too? I was like,
This is
this is crazy
weird.
right here. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Uh,
Yeah,
you know, I I don't know.
I don't
I
either.
can talk more freely on my radio show than I can on the YouTube channel, uh,
Yes,
because
yeah, that's
we
so
got to
true.
keep everything happy, happy, joy, joy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's a script and a reality that I don't assign to,
right,
and I'm smarter than them.
right.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
know, so yesterday,
Hmm.
um, I thought of you specifically
Hmm.
in the text that we were reading, the thesis from the good professor there, I think in North Carolina. And I want to bring this up because I really want to get your take on this because I've really been meditating on what is being said here. And I actually talked, to Lynn last night on this because this is impacting. And
Hmm.
so, if you remember, we were talking about how paganism is virtually in every aspect of society, every part of our culture. It has some roots or another in what we would call the knowledge of the country people.
Hmm.
I mean, that's what pagan is,
Yes,
country dweller, you know.
yes.
And I can say this. Uh, I grew up in the country. I grew up on a farm for a couple of years. Those were some hard summers. But
Mhm.
the thing that I found, and we were just talking about Appalachia, is they have a knowledge that what's called sophisticated, educated people have no understanding of or no awareness of.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's getting lost. Very few still
it's
have that
true.
connection. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
true.
because
It's
it's a
true.
connection to your earth. It's a connection to the animals. It's a deeper connection to your world.
Brian was very much in tune
Yeah.
to that whole culture
Mhm.
because that was his culture. It was his people.
Yes.
And, Brian carried that same quality of what, him and I, as I told him, the common sense factor.
Yes.
So, anyway, we talk here about therapeutic spiritualities. Now, I did not spend enough time on this yesterday, and I love the fact that you're here with me on this one because the whole point here, it's therapeutic. Therapeutic is healing, right?
Yes.
It addresses a number of modalities that are
Yes.
in people, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then when we take the spiritualities to it, and this is interesting because it's in the pearl state of the meaning multiple.
Yes.
Okay, so
Hmm.
a little tidbit here. It's written, and I can actually pull up the books, that the average when the person comes back and incarnates in this realm, they only bring between 25 and 40% of what is called the life force energy.
Yes.
And it's noticeable because you will see people who lose, they just suddenly one day wake up and their energy is depleted.
Yes.
Then you have those who, like Dick Van Dyke.
Hmm.
I swear Dick Van Dyke must have brought over 60% because, the dude doesn't slow down.
Correct.
So that implies that there is a tangible life force within us.
Yes.
Okay. So you do work in energy work,
Hmm.
getting people, I don't know if neutral isn't the right term, or how would you describe it?
It's totally depending on what they're there to accomplish.
Okay.
So, if they're there to heal stuck energy, you move it. If they're here to heal trauma that's held into the tissues, that's a different process. So it totally depends on what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish. So,
Okay.
but yeah, there's many ways to transmute and move energy.
And I know we have a lot of energy healers here. We have a lot of psychics. We have a lot of empaths, intuitives, and each one has a modality that they use in the the work that they do.
Absolutely. I think that's why, empathy and compassion are truly the first set of tools that healers learn.
Hmm.
Because you if you can't tune in to the other person, that's kind of you're stuck there. So most of the healers that you see, it's because they're strongly empathic.
I was someone sent an email and they had a accident on their bicycle
Hmm.
and bung up both knees, and the person was wearing gloves, and when they took the gloves off, they realized that they had torn a fingernail off.
Oh,
And, so I'm writing this and, and I'm actually feeling that throb,
yep. Oh,
and it's so evident if you ever lost a fingernail, what that
that
is like.
feeling. Oh, it makes your stomach hurt, and you're like,
Oh,
oh,
well, you
yeah,
can
you
feel
feel it right in
every
your gut.
freaking heartbeat.
Yep.
Ba boom, baby. And you're going, yeah. So, that is that empathy. That is, identifying um, with another person.
Yeah, so
So,
much you actually feel it, and that's a
yeah,
powerful empath, Wayne. A lot of people can't literally feel it. They can get the knowing, the identification, they know what it felt like for them, but, like, you can actually connect to it. That's a powerful empath. It's high
it's
level.
it's like the movie Paul,
Mhm.
when they asked Paul, well, have you ever brought anyone back to death? And he goes, hey, baby. That's
Right, right,
no, no, no. That's the big time stuff. No.
right.
So I
He
love that
literally brings
movie.
the bird back to life, and then he eats it.
I love that movie. I mean, I mean, come on, man. I mean,
Right? Oh gosh, yeah, yeah.
I think some of these aliens do get high. I mean,
I think so. I really do. I think there's this,
that's
yeah,
why we see them in the air going like this. That ain't because of technology, brother. They're stoned, man.
yeah, yep. They're
And
probably happy,
and yes, well, wouldn't you could think about you're tripping on the light fantastic. Or
right?
as Poco Harum said, Trina, they're tripping on the light fandango. I
Yes.
love that, the light fandangos. But anyway, so we digressed here. That's what we do
Sometimes that's okay.
sometimes. So I highlighted this because I was meditating and I was drawn back to this particular point. And it says, particularly here, that says some of these therapeutic spiritual approaches hold that disease is caused by a disruption in the individual's natural state, which would make disease literally means, and Julianne, we're going to get you on, dear. Hope we can get you on next Tuesday. Um,
Dis-ease. Yeah.
it's divided peace, is
Yeah.
what it means.
Yes.
So if you have a disease, you are being divided from your peace. Um,
Yeah.
and look what this says, whether spiritual, and I love that they lead off with the spirit,
Mhm.
physical, or both.
Mhm.
Believing that a divine life energy is immanent in nature and in the human body,
Yeah.
such therapies seek to restore the body's natural energy flow in harmony with nature. Some
Yeah.
of these spiritually grounded therapies continue to be used today, including osteopathy, chiropractic, and try to connect to the flow of life energy through skeletal and muscular manipulations.
Yeah.
Homeopathy, which uses a model of natural harmony between the cause of disease and its cure, the natural food movement,
Mhm.
this is the key right here, which sees heavy processing and the application of chemicals as diminishing the nourishing quality of food. In other words, its ability to transfer life force,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
vitalism.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's like because when you eat dead food, you can't recharge your life system.
Yes.
So this is going to deplete your battery really fast.
We talk about this all the time. The solar plexus.
Yeah.
We live in a solar system,
Yeah.
and we have this most remarkable area where the transfer takes place.
Digestion. Yes.
In all of the philosophers I have studied, it's amazing to me, Trina, that no one ever focus in on the transfer of this. Listen, you want to talk about magic?
I think Buddha did. That's a Buddha belly. Buddha. Buddha.
Buddha? Maybe
Yeah, Buddha,
so. Yeah.
Buddha, Buddha. Yeah, Buddha
Anyone know
belly.
that? Send us the link on that. I'd love to see that.
Because I know I'm part of Buddha. I think the teachings of
Yeah.
Buddha was about the breath and the solar plexus and the Buddha belly. And yeah, it was about the breathing and the power of the, yeah.
Now, back in 1971, I went to a rock festival,
Mhm.
and what the thing that we would do out there is that we would transcend in our meditation through breathing.
Yes.
And it takes a very limber body to do it.
Hmm.
That's why the youth do it. But I think if you're a practitioner, it would go with you through life.
It
The
does.
point
Yeah.
is, it would put us into a transil state of meditation, and actually induce what I would call a euphoric um, hallucinations in a state of consciousness
Yep.
just by breathing through the solar plexus.
Yes. It truly does because literally you've connected directly to the prana of the world, which is the particles of light radiating information into your being. And it can come in as healing, it can come in as information, enlightenment. Like you said, you kind of went into a euphoric state. When you
Yeah,
take those deep breaths, you're getting so much oxygen. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
almost before you pass out, you get into those. And it's because you've got such an exchange in the body that wasn't present before. And that happens through breath. I mean, some people pass
I
out.
did pass
Like,
out
yeah, I was
several
gonna say,
times. Yeah,
some
to be
people, yeah,
honest.
they just
Yeah,
pass out
I
and then they
mean, it
wake
was
up
like,
and then pass out again.
But yeah, but I mean, it's what it does to the brain, the
Yes.
hippocampus. I mean,
Yeah,
wow, I mean, it lights it up.
it does, like nothing else.
The Kundalini, I saw y'all on Andromeda 7 talking about that,
Yeah.
you know, and, for me, the Kundalini represents, for me, is that if the Krona can become the focal point of the energy all the way down to the base
Mhm.
of, and what is the last chakra at the base?
Fruit.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So if that alignment,
Mhm.
and it's like energy. You can't have a negative in a positive environment. There has to be a flow of which the energy is flowing uninhibited. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. And that's when you connect that the top to the
Hmm.
bottom, which is basically third eye throat. Because when you connect the blue ship to the red ship, which is the root, when they connect, it activates the violet, which is transmutation, higher mind capacities function through a chemical reaction, literally through that collapsing of the positive and negative into one another, and it creates that still point, and that still point is what fires up the higher consciousness.
I
And it
call that
happens.
would be the neutron.
Yeah.
When you have, yeah, what I mean, because that's what happens, and it's only in that neutral space. You
Yeah.
know, don't cross the neutral zone.
Yes.
I
Yes.
had a
Yes.
date
The 0
many, many
point.
years ago. She drew a line. Don't cross the neutral zone.
And think about
Gotcha.
it too. What's the symbol of pi? It's the circle with the
Yeah,
line going straight through it,
exactly. Yeah. I
right?
mean, it's
Pi.
all connected, baby.
So is. So is.
I mean,
And I think this Ophiuchus too, pi
yeah.
isn't even in the name of it. So Ophiuchus, I mean, there's something to this. And we're talking about life force.
Hmm.
I've been looking a lot at this symbol of Ophiuchus and trying to like understand it because it's kind of been we didn't really know a lot about it. And I keep seeing that this is like the magical, um, it's the healer. That's why it's a sign of our medicine symbol. It's the caduceus. It's the serpent bearer, which means that we have a potential to maybe bring in spontaneous healing, Wayne, to the
Oh,
planet.
well, first of all, I think we had it. Um, I did a whole series on the serpent, dating it
Mhm.
back 15,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, and all over the world, we find the serpent, we find it representative in worship, we find it representing to equal of healing.
Yes.
Rarely is the serpent ever seen. There was some in Mesoamerica that, particularly the Mayan, the Incas, who looked at the serpent in a much more what I would call aggressive way, as opposed to the Druids.
Hmm.
Particularly if you get into Ireland, the ancient goddess, as you see her standing, she has the serpent always next to her because
Yeah,
the
and then the
serpent
other
represents
one
wisdom.
from there is the one they use for Starbucks. It's the one that's the female with the serpent
Hmm.
legs coming
Yep.
out, two serpent legs.
Someone wrote me, and it's very true, the Naga, of
Yeah,
which, in India, I happen to be in the camp that I do believe that that was a race of beings. I think they're
I do
still
too.
here.
I do too. I do too.
Uh, uh,
Definitely. They
it,
they what I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if they some of them through genetic, change over time. I wonder if some of them evolved into more humans, and I wonder if some of them evolved more into the reptilians. That was kind of
yeah, I,
thought
I I
that
think there
one.
was the splitting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think that happened to all the races.
Well, the planet, I
Yeah.
mean, our solar system, and we're talking about schisms here, is
Mhm.
that, we get this crazy idea that we're staying stationary in space. We're not. We're going through a helical vortex and
Yeah.
moving very quickly, by the way, and we're moving into realms of space that I believe hold different type of radiation, which would be a different type of energy.
Yes. New light.
I mean, the dinosaurs could not exist in our world today. The barometric pressure of Earth would squash them.
We got to figure too. They say Aquarius, it 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 could be the fifth element. Air is
Mm-hmm.
spirit, but it
Yeah,
could
it is. Yeah.
literally be ether, Wayne. So
Again, we're talking on the Ethernet.
that's what I'm saying. And we're
Yeah.
in an ether, like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're up in the
Well,
con.
here's the reality, Trina. You and I, and even those who are watching, but you and I particularly, we're in an altered reality state right now
Yeah,
because you and I are connecting to one another through visual, auditorial, facial response.
through our senses.
Exactly. So you and I are like in our own little separate state of reality.
Yes,
And we're watching The Wizard of Oz like Annie Ann going past the window. It's like, look at all
absolutely.
the people in the chat.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
By the way,
Yeah.
so someone sent this and it was in the comment section. Folks they may have emailed me, but I checked it out.
Mhm.
The Wizard of Oz, right? I was talking
Yep.
about watching that. The professor gave the scarecrow a degree in THC.
Oh wow.
Yeah, anyway. So let me ask you this, Trina. You're gonna love this.
Uh-huh.
So you've seen the movie The Wizard of Oz, right?
Yes.
So who would you say was the real villain in the movie?
The Wicked Witch of the West.
The one the house followed on, or her sister of the? Yeah, that would be right. That would be.
But
um
ultimately the villain was fear. So fear was the ultimate villain, but the villain in the story was the Wicked Witch from the West.
Nope. You
No,
ready for it to be blown away?
yeah,
The true villain in the Wizard of Oz was Glinda, the Witch of the North.
the Good Witch.
Yes, you see, she was no good witch, she was a good bitch. She was actually the ultimate manipulator in the story, and here's how it breaks down. When the house that Dorothy landed in the land of Oz
Mhm.
fell on the Wicked Witch of the West, excuse me, she was wearing the magic slippers.
Yeah.
Now, while we get the story, when the house falls, Dorothy, the house didn't destroy, Dorothy wasn't hurt, and she walks out. And then suddenly, here comes this bubble of energy, protective energy, and Glinda appears. Now, it's very interesting because Glinda, instead of taking the ruby slippers herself, she puts them on Dorothy when the Wicked Witch's sister appears. Now, she tells Dorothy, be careful, Dorothy. These shoes must be very powerful or she would want them. In the meantime, she tells Dorothy to begin to head to the land of Oz, the Emerald City, and to meet the wizard. Now, in the land of Oz, there is a power struggle that had been ongoing. Because we never hear of the Wicked Witch or the Good Witch of the South. The South doesn't exist. Why? Because Glinda already assumed her portion of her power and her kingdom. But the interesting thing was that Glinda had a problem because here comes this cat that she made a wizard who had a hot air balloon, which tells you that this is an actual place, that she made him a wizard. But
Mhm.
she has to get rid of him. But the people of the Emerald City are fascinated with the fact that they have a wizard. So she sends Dorothy on this quest to meet the wizard. In the meantime, when Dorothy meets the wizard tells her that she has to get the broom from the witch. Dorothy goes out, and unbeknown on the mission, she kills the witch. Now, for Glinda, this is a bonus because Glinda doesn't have to get involved in any of this.
Yep.
She's always in the background manipulating
Yep.
Dorothy to accomplish her ultimate mission, which is what? Is to rule the land of Oz without any other
Challenge.
power.
Yeah. Challenges. Yeah.
So there's the story.
That makes sense.
I never, and I have to give credit to the guy in the video. I'll find it and post it.
Because
Uh,
everything's backwards, Wayne. That's what I'm saying. Everything is really backwards. And oh man, it's a conundrum.
isn't it?
It's
What
completely a conundrum.
you and I, and probably the rest of us who are in our age
You know what
group,
I just thought of, Wayne?
what's that?
In the end, it was like, Dorothy, you always had the power. You always had the power, Dorothy. And she was using her for her power.
And then sent her ass back.
So that means that we ultimately have the most power.
Bingo. But Dorothy never realizes this, and the
Yeah.
doppelgangers in the whole thing is really bizarre.
Wow.
Weird,
Wow.
isn't it? And
It
we grew
totally
up as
makes
kids
sense.
thinking Glinda was the good guy.
Right, the good witch, because it was guiding her programming, really, getting them to do what
Hmm.
they
Oh,
want
yeah.
to do to
Yeah.
fulfill their task. Might
Because she
have
had the
nothing to do with
Munchkins.
you.
The Munchkins already looked at her as absolute, as God, as a goddess.
Yeah.
She had to get rid of the other, competitors
Uh-huh.
without being looked like she was the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Kind of tells me that much of what we live in is exactly that.
Oh gosh, Wayne, it's so crazy. It's like Pinocchio, that whole story. That's kind of our story right there.
I mean,
Yeah, all these
um,
fairy tales, they've got a lot of deep, deep meaning.
it does. They do. Absolutely they do. And it gets back to this life force.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can't, as a species, consume food that is what I would call enriched in this energy,
Mm-hmm.
that it begins to deplete upon the reserve that we brought here in this incarnation, this life cycle.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. There's no way around that. Yeah, but you can supplement and like I said, keep your minerals and stuff up, by supplementing because that's really going to help because you really
Hmm.
aren't going to get it in the food. It's not there. The waters are not running through the streams anymore and it's just and I think, going back to more of the natural ancient ways, eventually people are going to really start to understand the importance of it of, sitting around the campfire um, you know, people need to have their own like local gardens and stuff, and you take that wood ash and you spread it all through the garden so it gets all proper minerals. And there's just all these old things that we don't do anymore because we don't know, we forgot.
Well,
So
there are many cities in the United States that the ordinances prohibit the citizens to having gardens.
I know that's why you got to get out of there.
And they are, by the way, there's a huge migration. But
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I was meditating, and what I heard very distinctly is that the world today is being fed dead food.
yes,
Now, dead food has a direct cause and effect.
yes,
If you're eating dead food, you're going to begin to represent by what you consume.
yes. Or you just die because you only got so much life force, and then when the life force is gone, that's what I mean. The heart won't work. It'll stop beating because your battery just stopped.
So
That's why
the
when your heart stops, they electrocute you. They give you a charge back. They charge up the battery again.
try to get that spark in there.
Yeah.
So I went on the National Department of Health in our government and was looking into some interesting statistics.
Hmm.
And within the last 50 years, we have seen an increase of what they call SDS, sudden death syndrome. It's where, get this, they have had cardiac patients as young as 17.
Yeah, I saw that when I was in high school in 1988. One of our top football players dropped dead on the field.
So
Yep,
if you look at this, how it's now affecting greater the generations, there's obviously a direct correlation between the food and what we would call this depletion of life force transference.
absolutely. And I think they're giving us a lot of foods to burn out our life force, like the energy drinks and stuff. Because you're seeing a lot of people, young adults now having heart attacks, and a lot of people are saying the only thing they can possibly attribute it to is that constant amphetamine overload in that would have created heart damage. So yeah, I know
Lynn would
several.
be in total agreement with you. I've never drank one, never even
I
tasted
haven't
one.
either. My daughter drank one time and she thought she was going to have a heart attack, and that's why I put
Really?
that correlation together, because she thought she was going to have a heart attack, and she'd never had a big, huge, and she drank one of those big old tall monsters. She literally, she said, "Mom, I thought I died. I passed out." I was like, "You passed out?" She was like, "Yeah, Mom, I passed out." I was like, "Oh my gosh." So yeah, we're really sensitive to stuff though. So like I said, that could probably be deadly. So
Well,
yeah,
I
we
have a
don't
caffeine
ever did it.
sensitivity, so I can't drink,
I can do coffee, but like
I
even
can't drink
iced tea, I
coffee.
have a sensitivity with. But if I switch coffee and go to tea, then I'm okay with the tea and not the coffee. So it's like I have to build up a resistance
Yeah.
to function like normal.
Lynn can't function without the coffee. I mean, she's got
Yeah, I know a
that,
lot of people that can't, and I love my
just,
coffee too. I do. I
uh,
love it. I'm with Lynn. I love my coffee. It's
and you
like,
know what? I
cheers.
love the smell of coffee
I
though.
do too. I
Oh
think
man.
that's to start the day with that aroma, and then it's warm. It's just like a warm blanket. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful ritual. I love the coffee ritual.
Lynn and I got married off of Kona Beach in Hawaii, and
Mhm.
we went up, uh, spent the whole day just going in the mountain roads and stopping at they have all these coffee farms,
Yes.
and they're,
Kona
each,
coffee.
oh,
Yeah.
I mean, and every it seemed like about every 10
Mhm.
yards there would be another grower that had their, and they have these cabanas like that you come out, and of course I'm just smelling it, but Lynn's drinking it.
Absolutely.
I couldn't get her down off the ceiling later.
Yeah,
It's like,
me too. I was like, heavenly, it's heavenly. I love the smell of coffee.
oh,
Yes.
and the other thing we saw? We saw avocados that were literally
Oh,
that
wow.
big. I mean,
Oh, wow.
huge suckers. We saw one of the farmers, and because you just have these little plots of land on the side of this volcano. And so we stopped and said, "Could we have one of those?" And he was the nicest guy and said, "Yeah." And he says, "Would you like something else, like some papaya?" I went, "Yeah, sure." Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that was just beautiful.
that's like I said, that's
Mm,
so
I can smell the
beautiful.
coffee.
We've got to get back to that. I think we should make a Garden of Eden right here on Earth.
I listen, I think it could be possible. It's
I do
just the
too.
question that listen, I don't like what I see coming down the road.
I don't either. But, if this is a script and they say for 42 months, that crap's going to be rolling, but then it's over, that means we win. We could do the Garden of Eden then. Yay. Yeah.
The words of John Lennon.
I
uh,
kept hearing Wayne my whole life. You came here to win. So, I wouldn't have been told that if it wasn't a potential.
mhm.
So I think it can be. And I think if we do win, that's kind of what it's going to look like. Things are going to go back to really taking care of each other and taking care of the planet. And that's going to be awesome.
Oh, you know what I'm hearing in the back of my head, Trina?
What?
Joni Mitchell singing Woodstock. And we got to get back to the garden.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yes. And
we
Woodstock. That's fun. That's fun.
we got lost along the way, Trina. My
Yeah.
generation got lost in um but I think we're finding our way back. And that's because there's others who saw the vision as well and passed the vision on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like this life force energy too. Life force energy, that would be the golden serpent. That would be that energy. And then there's also the silver part of that serpent. So you got your gold and your silver, which is your solar and your lunar. Um, Guys, I just keep seeing this Ophiuchus alignment might be a time for us to really make a difference for what we're going to see on this planet. Because if we can activate the healing power of our system, because we are the system, it's all of us, we really can maybe make some very, very powerful things happen. Because Wayne, what happens when you activate those higher powers? You see spontaneous healing,
you
miracles.
do.
This is what happens. And we're coming into that alignment in December with the December 21st solstice, an eclipse on the 14th, all of this happening in this sign as we're literally officially locking in the Aquarian age. This
And
is
Julianne Payne sent me, there's also, is it the 12th, Julianne? I want to get you on next week so we can talk about, I think it's an Aboriginal
oh wow.
high holy day or something. So I don't want to mess it up. So I'll keep my
Yeah.
mouth shut. It's like, Julianne knows about it, but
I know they do have one on the solstice, but I didn't know
yeah,
if they might have
yeah.
another one before that too. Yeah, because
And for many pagans, this is it's that is the high holy day.
yes.
It's the only time that the sun literally stops. I mean, for
Yeah.
3 days, we do not lose time or we do not gain time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the whole Buddha, Mithra, Jesus, Tammuz, Osiris, 3 days in the
It's,
tomb. Then they
yeah,
resurrect. That's the
yeah.
story of the sun.
And that's what pagans knew. It was the way
Yeah.
to the Father, if you want to talk about the Father, is that the Father could never become unless the earth, the mother, and the way you get to the Father is through the S-O-N, not the S-U-N, excuse me. It's the sun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
And
it,
our
it's
sun is waking up.
information. Think about it. The sun is what gives us our information. Light is information. When that's because we got to figure this out. We got to
Yeah.
figure it out. And that's what it means through the sun. Once you have your information, then you will be able to go to different
I
places.
am, let's see. I'm going to try to get us into, I want to show you something.
Okay.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Go ahead and talk. I'm gonna
Uh,
pull up and
um,
here we go.
and Wayne, you know how we were just talking about how the red ship and the blue ship, they ignite
Hmm.
those sacred energies of the spine, which is the spinal column is the autonomic nervous system, which is the messenger of God, because it's what gives your information to your body. And through the autonomic nervous system is where we process our sensories. So this
Ah,
is a sensory. I'm seeing a subconscious tsunami might be on its way with a subconscious um, connection. And then that might be a little bit scary for a lot of people if this does happen, because if we could be in the subconscious mind and have access to it to a way that we normally don't, that would definitely be a shift of consciousness. Huge.
speaking of huge, I wanted to show this to you. There it is.
Wow.
So you see down at the bottom, Earth.
Huh?
Put
Oh,
Earth inside that sunspot.
oh my gosh.
So our sun is waking up, and I think that this is going to add to that allegedly 42 months, as they would say. Pretty scary, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow,
We're
Wayne.
going to get bigger and they're going to get more numerous, but this puppy
Yes.
is a big
Yep.
one. There it is. So you
Wow.
can really see how big it really is. And there's Earth, about the size of this pointer.
Look
And
how
you,
they all look like three little dots almost. It's weird before they get
yeah.
big. I see dots, three dots.
So anyway, I always pay attention to those things. It's crazy. It's
Absolutely. And boy,
you know,
it's gonna if the sun decides to not be so nice, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah. By the way, here's another little factoid. Cosmic rays, they're bad for our DNA, but you know what they're also bad for?
What?
Cancer cells.
Oh, wow, that would make sense.
Cosmic rays attack cancer cells.
So do they make cancer worse or better?
Oh, they eliminate it. Kill
Really?
it. Kill it.
Oh,
Bye.
wow.
Bye,
Laying the
Felicia.
sun, y'all. Wow.
I mean,
That's
weird, isn't it?
awesome.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Like,
okay.
ooh,
How does, yeah. I mean, you talked about connecting to the subconscious, and a
yeah.
lot of people, when you think about, all right, how do I connect to the subconscious? One of the things I practice in my dreaming is to always remember I'm writing the script.
Mhm.
And I had a dream the other night, which was crazy. And the thing about it is, I remember, and I told Lynn, I said, I stopped in the middle of the dream and I said, now, wait a minute. This is just a dream. And I started rewriting the script
That's
and
awesome.
probably woke up, Trina.
That's awesome.
But I literally, because things were out of place.
Yes, and you're like, "Nope, I'm
Yes.
gonna fix this, I'm gonna fix this," and
Yes.
again, that is when that's huge, Wayne,
It's
that's
like,
huge. It
no, I'm dreaming this. I know it's a dream.
that is awesome. That is
Lynn's,
so awesome.
yeah. I mean, but
That's total lucid dreaming right there.
that's exactly what it is.
Total
Yeah.
100% control lucid dreaming. Wow.
And then, there are many times when I wake up and you think you should be rested, but it's like you worked out.
Man, I hate when that happens. It happens to me a lot.
I mean, it was like Lynn does the same thing. She, because she's
Yeah.
been a nurse for so many years, she has a recurring dream. She's always back in the OR,
Mhm.
and she's dealing with multiple patients at the same time. And I said, honey, we got to get you free of that there.
You know what? See if she can bilocate in the dream. So because that to me it says like she's feeling like there's not enough of her to help all the people she needs to help. So she needs to be able to bilocate and have multiple lens and
I'll
send
take
all of
that and give that to you.
herself to heal and help all those people that need her help so she can feel relief.
I'll mention that to her.
Yeah, that might
I
be a
love
key.
that woman.
Yeah,
So,
and us women, we take on so much and
oh,
really want to make it better.
yeah,
And we sometimes we just feel like there's just not enough hands, enough of me. But in that state, that's when you can create more of you.
that's the thing that I learned as I tell Lynn all the time about Lilith. I mean, is
Mhm.
the fact that there is this essence about the personification of the feminine, that it is nurturing. It is always in particularly what she does is in nursing. You work in healing, the same thing. There isn't sometimes enough of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes too, like if you do energy work and like a lot of uh tarot readings and stuff like that, y'all don't realize that that really takes a lot of your life force. It really does. So Edgar Casey, like he knew, they
He
told him,
knew.
"You're gonna die if you keep doing this," and he was like, "I'm boo-rah, I'm going for it." So he was very aware of what he was doing to his body, and he was very okay with it. But people need to be aware. This is true. This is true. These are high frequencies. When I run in those high levels of energy, you need a while to recuperate. Sometimes you need a nap. I mean, you do. And
I
even if
learned a
you're
technique. Go ahead, hon.
I was gonna say, even if you're just holding them for other people, sometimes these frequencies are really high.
Two things. The panel that we have on Fridays, I
Mhm.
just folks, you need to support them, and because a lot of times they'll go for an hour and a half,
Yes.
and you're right. It physically is draining. Along with it, it's
Yeah.
also I don't say the word spiritually, but it is it.
Yeah.
It yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's what I mean when you're connecting to these higher vibrations, it requires more fire from the engine. So it's literally, it drains you because you're not normally running at that high of a frequency. And if we were, we would probably have a different world and different food because, we would be burning more octane per se, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's a high people that are getting into those higher frequencies, that's some seriously high vibrations and those are running through the body. That's how you're receiving from those higher realms of thought. It's a vibration. So you have to meet that vibration to be able to connect to it. So you got to be careful how much you're sitting in these higher frequencies and vibrations.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I learned the technique back in the late 70s of uh, power napping.
Yeah.
And I I followed the Big Bang. I really like it. And if you know Amy Fowler, played by the her Mayan Barak, I think, and I've butchered her last name. But anyway, she was taught the technique as well. And she, in one of her videos, it was interesting. She said, because when you're doing a television show and actually filming it, those days can go for 12, 14 hours.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
she said that a guy taught her the technique of power napping, and now she's a big believer in it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
learned it when I was getting my education.
it works. When I was the CEO of US Creative, I purposely, when we moved into our new office building, I purposely had a room that it held, I think we had 8 of the Barca loungers. And I
Mhm.
had the ceilings painted black in the environment and where it was just star fields.
Mhm.
And my policy was that my employees could go in, and if you needed to take a 20-minute power nap, I don't care what time of the day
Yep.
it was there.
Yep.
Yeah.
They say that people that have that ability perform like 60 to 80% better than the
Thank
ones
you,
that
my
don't.
dear. My board was very happy to see, because that's what happened. The
Yeah.
productivity went way up. The
It
creativity
does. It
went way up.
absolutely does. And I think 90% of that, it's just saying, I care about you.
I loved my employees. I had foosball
Yeah.
machines.
I mean,
Fridays
that
were
says I
margarita
care about
day.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it says I care about you. If you need to sleep, go sleep. If you need to get away from your desk for a little bit and go play a game and regroup so you can refocus, go do that. That's support.
Trina, I actually had a massage therapist that did chair massages. She came in
Get up.
on Mondays, Wednesdays, and I got to tell you what, everybody was in the
Came to
office on
work.
Mondays and Wednesdays.
I said everybody came to work, right? Everybody.
I mean, they,
Nobody did. Yeah. Uh-huh. I
you
know
know,
that.
uh,
Yeah.
Erica May was my director of marketing, and she says, I just love this place, because, you know,
Absolutely.
um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is
I mean,
Wayne, but
yeah,
that is like, you've seen it. It's the key to success.
yeah.
And nobody does this anymore. And I've always seen that part of the new wave of the future. It's how we've always had these big corporations owning all the big business.
Hmm.
Those businesses, these huge companies, would be run by a group of people that wanted to be in that business. And there would not be one owner, there would be co-owners. All the employees would have partial ownership. And everything would be running as a group. And it really is the actual what I saw coming out of this was so powerful because everybody was a part of what they loved, and they would go to work with a corporation that was what they were interested in, and everybody was a part of it. They weren't like an employee. They were literally like, no, this is part of our dream. This is our thing. And everybody, there was a more equal playing field on the monetary level of it too, because it didn't matter what job you were doing. All those parts had to function or it couldn't work. So
Yeah.
everybody was recognized for their value, no matter what, because people look at things so differently now. It was more if this doesn't get done, this doesn't work. None of it works. So it doesn't matter if you're the one who's delivering all the blueprints to our competitors or whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're just a runner or if you're this or that. It didn't matter because if that didn't get done, we don't get our contracts, we don't get our bids. So everybody's job was valuable. So I
Mhm.
think if we went to a shift like that, because people will work so hard if they feel appreciated, loved, and that they're part of something that matters and part of something that it's not like just, just a job.
Well, I'm pitching to a venture capital friend of mine
Mhm.
that the idea of beginning to circulate within, particularly in the tech field, and it's very diverse now, but I'm pitching to, and I won't use the gender, to this individual that companies need to begin to look at hiring empaths, those that are well trained in the occult of tarot, other mediums,
Astrology.
because as I told them, the Federal Reserve already has them.
Yes,
And I said, I think every company needs to have a director of psychic or occult affairs.
absolutely.
It,
Absolutely.
because if here's the thing, if I can go into a board meeting, I'm gifted at reading,
Mhm,
I can at least say, well, here's a parameter. If
mhm.
I have employees that, you know, it's to me, and here's how I look at it. It's more accurate in what I've been able to watch on this panel. We've been doing this now for almost 2 months, and the amount of accuracy is uncanny.
Yeah.
I look at it like this: if an employee could go in and get a reading done
Mhm,
because they're carrying something at home, the
mhm,
job, or some kind of stress, that
mhm.
doing through a card reading, that I could help through that employee to begin to get a different perspective on what they're needing, I think you help them immensely.
Like I said too, just like to have a couple different options. So if they need, say, a lot of people literally can be completely balanced with a Reiki treatment. Just
Mhm.
somebody holding energy for people. Massage. Like you said, when you offer people, and just like you said, the power nap, the ability just to go shut down, all of these things are so powerful. And I
Yeah.
mean, like to have a shaman in there so they could go in and find out if they really have a big block on something they want to release or
You
any.
me tell you something I think's going on?
What?
There are certain companies that I think they're already employing, because I'm seeing sometimes trends that sounds, that looks like a curse.
Yes.
There's something, and this is not normal. And I got this crazy idea in a dream I had recently that there are literally companies that are trying to put curses on other companies to curtail the competition.
Yes, it's very powerful NLP. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely right. That's, I
It's
mean, that's when we win, Wayne, is when we start to, know how to use these things to serve and benefit and strengthen humanity.
yeah.
Because boy, I tell you, these guys are working on lower frequency. When you build these bridges with positive frequencies, get ready.
And there's so much of this low energy that,
That's pretty much all we've
ah,
got existing, and
yeah.
that's what they're like, "You guys have to be the savior. Nobody's gonna do this for you. You need to do this. This is now your gift. Start doing it." So it's time, guys. It's time to activate our superpowers.
It has to be, because I got to tell you what, it's like stepping in old oil. It sticks to you, but it is slick as snot. I mean, whoop. And I
Yes.
don't want to bust my butt. I want to be able to say, listen, I can counter this. And I've got a group that can join me
Yeah.
in this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
we may not be able to counter that source, but what we can do is insulate ourselves.
Well, and it's too in this window of Ophiuchus, I just keep hearing it's like if everybody would just focus on truth and healing. That's it. Just truth and healing. No religions, no gods, no divisions, no fights, no colors. All just gone, just truth and healing. Because right now, people want the truth because they are feeling so confused. They
Oh,
don't know what's right, what's left, back. So we just focus on that and healing. Let's see where it goes.
what did John Lennon say? no religion, no politics, and it's like, just imagine. That's why we have an imagination.
Yes, and the thing is that, everybody's been trained to go against one another, and we gotta come together and say,
Got to
"No, we're
stop
not."
it.
Yeah, we're gonna join up, and this is how we can do it. If we simplify things and come together with something that everybody would like to see, which is to know what's really true and to see healing, because we need some healing. There's a lot of healing that we need.
Yeah, even within my own family, I had to tell, listen, I don't want to talk politics. I don't
Right,
want to talk religion. You know,
right.
let's talk about some of the deep meaning things about what we're encountering.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Let's talk about what's going on for reals inside and how can we make our world a better place. It needs to be focused on. It really does.
It
People
does.
think that they can't make a difference. They're like, well, what difference would I make?
Mm.
Guys, if we all come together, it's not just what difference will I make, it's what difference will we make?
I'd like to
Whole
say
different.
something when someone tells me that. It's like this. I said, "What are you saying is that what does it really matter what you do?" I said, "Well, let me just drop this back. So if we take this large group over here and we started reversing through time, eventually we're going to get back to where there was one person,
Mhm,
had that idea, that
mhm.
inspiration,
Yep.
told it to another person,
Mhm,
next person. They form a tribe
mhm.
and they call themselves the Milky Way Soul Tribe. And, over the years, what I see has happened now, it's amazing. There are channels that are starting right and left and people coming out of their shells and, beginning to express themselves. It's like seeing spring bring forth with the abundance of new flowers, just beauty being out there.
We're pulling, we're starting to magnetically draw in that which we want to see.
Hmm.
And a lot of people are wanting to have more information, to know more about their own cosmology,
Yep.
about the power that's within them. And the more people that are waking up to seeing that things aren't the way they appear, and maybe it's time to start driving this bus because the people that are right now, they've gone crazy train. So
I say let's get a caravan of buses. That's the way I look
yeah,
at it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Imagine you'll never get bored. You say, "Well, I want to go and try this other bus." You go over there and you're going, "Yeah, I dig this." I mean, you know,
Yeah, and everybody has got some kind of an awareness of the importance of this December alignment. So I really do. I
well,
really
it's only
do.
by variety that we find ourselves into the spice of life.
Yes.
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 I mean, I like to cook with lots of spices.
Absolutely. Was. I mean, I think too this is a spicy time. So let's drive it our way. Let's
Oh, I'm just
bring
ready.
it on.
Bring it on.
Bring it
Trina,
on.
I love these Tuesdays on.
Me too. Is it done already?
Yeah,
God,
it's gone.
that went like that, Wayne. Time's flying for me. Is it flying for you?
Well, go back and watch this program. I want you to go back at about the 36-minute mark. You were in a trance. You were actually phased out. I was going to send you a text because you were just go and look at it.
Yeah, I was listening to some information I was getting. I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's how it happens for me. I conscious channel. I've never been a like, but I like, but if you'd have said train, I'd been what I can right back. Yeah, no problem. I come
yeah.
and I can hear you while I'm doing that too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but you can go see that.
Yeah. You can
You'll
usually
actually
see it in my
see
eyes if I'm hearing something. I'm like, my eyes go up. Yeah, it's yeah.
what your expression on your face was one of, it was like, I could see
Yeah,
that yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You're usually very animated,
yeah,
and at that time, yeah.
yeah. And I'm telling you right now, the energies for me are very, very powerful. And the moon just came into Aries today, and I got a triple fire trine going on. I ain't catching a break. It's all right though.
Well, but remember, there are times the body heals itself, and it's moments when it's down,
Yeah,
and
well, I'm not down. That's what I mean. The energy's off the
well, I
hook.
mean, to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah,
And right now I'm having a hard time sleeping, Wayne.
I've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah, it's one of
Yeah,
those really high energy, triple
yeah.
fire alignment. I just had the moon move into Cryon, the wounded healer today. That's what I mean. It's like it's intense energies, but it's just bringing forth a lot of information, and it's all regarding this Ophiuchus alignment in December. I really do think that something very powerful potentially could happen. So, man, let's bring in the kind of information we want to see.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I was reading an article, and it's a secular article, and the individual who was writing it was very astute in its observation. Something's happening. There is a mass migration taking place within the United States right now.
Yeah.
There is this exodus and we've got to keep positive on this, because if they see us leaving the cities, going back to the country, they can't control us, because that's what cities do. I mean, you're like cattle, you're corralled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep. But
yep,
like I said, I really do. It'll take a lot of coming together on a lot of different fronts. But
yep. Paul Joe, you're right. Be the frequency you want to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, start planting some of your own food, guys. Start learning because you might need it.
Please, please, please.
Yeah, and then not just that, it's like you can control more of what's going into your body. And just like they say, bless your food. This literally you can transmute so much and bring life back into the food through your intention. So I mean I mean, if you're going to be putting your power, put it into yourself sometimes. And you can do that by putting it into the water and into the food that you're going to put into your body.
Lay hands on yourselves. That's
Yeah.
all I got to tell you. Lay hands on yourself.
Yeah.
Tell your body that you love your body, and that, you know, before we go, it's a factoid. We lose 500,000 cells each day.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting is that when we lose these cells, the fact that they are giving birth to new cells, they're like stem cells. They can be programmed.
You know what I was doing the last couple days?
What's that?
There's this buzz about these med beds, these healing beds that
Okay, I haven't heard.
completely, yeah,
Mhm.
there's talk about them. And I've always heard about them. Shambhala spoke of them. Some of the ascended masters talked about going into these healing beds. And I've been working with that language for a little while, but there's new information about these things. They're going to maybe potentially be available to the public in the pretty near future. And I was thinking, okay, that means that this technology is totally rolled out. And if it's here, bring it into your imagination and start going into the med bed yourself right now.
Ooh,
And I've been doing this, and I swear, Wayne, I'm liking what I'm thinking I'm doing here. I like it. Med bed,
keep
total
me
healing bed,
informed.
healing
Keep
beds,
me
healing beds. Just,
informed. I like
yes,
that.
put yourself in a healing bed and focus on the technology of the med bed because they say it fixes everything.
I
Just
think our ancestors used a form of light to do that. I
this
mean,
is a
much like
bed
a
of light.
sarcophagus.
It is a bed of light, and it's like a
Yeah.
sarcophagus. You're seeing it, Wayne. See,
See?
you're seeing it.
See?
That's what I'm telling you. Guys, get into these
I'm
med
plugged
beds.
in. I'm
That's
plugged
it.
in.
You
Uh-huh.
are. So let's all go in the beds.
I think that's kind of a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so I said I'm getting a lot of information. I'm like, oh, connect with that. That would be good for you. Why not? It's like,
Yeah,
let's start
I like this.
getting creative. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it. I'm like, heal thyself.
They say a lot of the technology we don't even understand, particularly, with the Egyptians and even going back to the Far East. But that's what I'm convinced they do. They figured it out. There was a light frequency that they were using.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
So
like
yeah,
the
med bed.
Coral Castle down in Florida. The guy that would
Yes.
only work at night,
Yes.
lifting, these coral rocks that weighed 100 tons.
Using ice cream cones.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean,
That's what they said. They said they'd catch them using ice cream cones, which
yeah.
were all those little spiral cone tools they used to find all over Egypt.
And he did it, and no one was allowed there. They did see the blue light, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You,
think that's electromagnetic. That's,
I do too.
yeah, I think that
And
the
I think
guy,
if they
yeah.
produced it with sound.
I know the experiments I've just done in my backyard. Lynn watched one of them, and there is so much energy around us.
God, yes,
I mean, if we could just,
we can.
yeah, we will. Yes, we
We
will.
do. Can. We will.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. It's 11111. So there we go. That's a good. So Trina, tell us what you got going this week on your channel and where you're going to be at.
Friday Andromeda 7, Saturday Robert, and Sunday I do not know yet. And Tuesday I was with Wayne, and I'll see if I get any more information I can get unjumbled out
Yeah.
of my head. But that's the
Well,
latest is med bed stuff. I keep seeing that this is
like
a
that. I want
a
to know
great
more about that. And
imagination tool.
so
Yeah,
Julianne, I know you're in the room. Can we get you on next week? I'm watching the chat.
I
Oh,
love you.
sure.
Yay!
Yeah, okay. I'm seeing a plant, a tree with a rose and with a green heart. I get that.
Oh, yeah.
I get that. Isn't it odd how we can read symbology?
Yes, I think it's better
Yeah,
than words because
yeah,
you understand the
yeah,
picture better than we understand sometimes our words.
yeah. That's really cool. It's like, oh yeah, man, I can read. She says yes. So
Awesome.
next week, Julianne will listen. You can talk more about what you sent me, and yeah,
And you know, Wayne, think about this. This is for Julianne. Julianne, this is for you. Maybe we can talk about this. Ophiuchus is Ophiucus. So it's a phi in us somehow. And then the other one that I was seeing was Ophiuchus, and then what was the other one? Oh shoot, I lost it, but I'll think of it. But yeah, I want to break those words down because I think that might be super fun.
cool.
There's
And
something to
Justin,
this. I'm getting something, Wayne. It's about this serpent Ophiuchus symbol or something. Like somehow I think we can like literally somehow we have access to the codes of pi, which is creation codes.
yeah,
So
that's weird.
yeah, it's the medicine. It's the medicine. It's the symbol of the healer.
Justin Moore says, I'd love to come on, but they'd shut your program down. Well, we don't want that.
We don't want to shut down. No, no, no.
No. I mean, we're walking a tightrope as it is,
Yeah.
well,
It's just for entertainment purposes only, though.
yeah.
That's it.
We're just rapping. That's all.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Miss Trina,
Stories, flinging thoughts.
listen, you come here, you're gonna have a good time. Lost in Space, thank you. They're sending you all your love, Trina.
I love you guys.
She's a really groovy gal.
So much.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
she
We
is.
have the best people in the world, Wayne, right here. I'm telling you,
They are.
you guys are just amazing souls. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And I'm so honored to know you. And
Yeah, and
thank
I go and visit the other channels. I see the crew. They're, going house to house, and that's what it's about. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, we've been hanging out now, some of us for years.
Yeah.
That's powerful and it's beautiful and that's real.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. All right, everybody. Much love to y'all. See y'all tomorrow.